Am I the jerk for refusing to celebrate my brother's birthday? So my brother just turned 20, and he still lives with us because he does not know how to properly apply to a college. Now, my brother works at Panera Bread every day, and then he comes home and watches sports or UFC with my oldest brother. My mother wanted to throw him a huge party and make him a birthday cake. On my 16th birthday, my grandmother passed away. On my 17th birthday, I went with my family to P.F. Chang's, and my eldest brother threw a huge fit because he forgot his identification and they would not sell him alcohol. At the end of the day, I just wanted a cake for my birthday. I had asked my mother if she could make me one because she had a reputation for making people cakes for their birthdays. She would even spend extra time to make my oldest brother a special cake because he was lactose intolerant. When I asked for a birthday cake, I did not think she would say no, but she did. I asked her even after my birthday, but she said that if she made one, we would not even eat it all. Even though my mother would not make me one, my father's girlfriend made one with me, and it was really good. Today, my mother wanted to make a cake for my brother, but her oven broke, so she went to the store and bought him one. She said that we would not even eat all of it, and that we would have a birthday dinner as a family. I went up to my room and refused to come down and celebrate with them. My mother came up and started to yell at me, telling me that I was being very disrespectful to my brother, who, I can promise you, did not even care. I told my mother that it was unfair that my brothers and even her boyfriend did a good birthday, and I am left with all the bad ones. She told me that I was a terrible sister and that I would not be getting any cake. I did not want any anyway. I asked my friends and they were tied. Some said that it was just a cake and I needed to get over it, while others said that it was unfair. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for not celebrating my brother's birthday? It's clear that moving out might be the best option. It seems like there's a favorite in the family, and unfortunately it's not them. They definitely shouldn't have to be the scapegoat in this situation. It's time to prioritize their own well-being. Am I the jerk for refusing to drop my ex-husband's last name? I am a 56-year-old female who divorced my husband 2 years ago after 26 years of marriage. We have 4 children, and the split was amicable. He came out as gay, and we mutually agreed to part ways. Changing my name was not a priority because updating IDs, legal documents, and bank accounts would be a huge hassle. I still use his last name on official documents, but go by my maiden name socially. Recently, he got engaged to a wonderful man. I have been supportive of their relationship, but during my grandson's birthday party, my ex suddenly asked if I would consider dropping his last name. His fiancée said it makes him uncomfortable that I still use it. I was caught off guard and awkwardly joked that unless they want to spend hours in lines at various government offices, I was not going to change it. My ex did not laugh. He insisted it is about starting a new chapter and wants me to move on. The whole situation felt bizarre. For 2 years, it has never been an issue, and now they are ganging up on me? After the party, my ex called and argued that keeping his name makes it hard for his fiancée to feel like they are starting a fresh life. I countered that our children still use the same name, and it would feel strange for me to be the odd one out. What really hurt was learning from my youngest son that his fiancée feels threatened by my name, assuming I am clinging to some claim on my ex. I have made it clear I have zero interest in rekindling anything, but it feels like I am being pressured to erase a part of my identity. My ex admitted his fiancée is uncomfortable because he sees me keeping the name as a power play. I feel like I am caught between trying to keep peace and being forced into something just because his fiancée is insecure. They want me to go through the hassle of changing everything for their comfort. I told my ex that I will consider it later, maybe after they are married and settled. But now, he is furious, saying I am being petty and selfish. My friends think I should stand my ground, but my children are divided. One thinks I should just give in to keep the peace, while the other agrees that it is ridiculous to change it just because his fiancée feels insecure. I am frustrated. I do not see why a name on some legal documents is such a big deal, but they are making me feel like the villain. So, am I the bad one for refusing to drop my ex-husband's last name even though he is getting remarried? In my opinion, you have done nothing wrong here. Many people keep their ex's last name, especially if they have children together, since changing it can be such a lengthy and annoying process. If the fiancé has an issue, it's really something they need to work out as a couple, perhaps by suggesting the ex take his partner's last name for a fresh start. This way, they can deal with their own concerns without making it your problem, and your children still get to share your name. Stand your ground on this one, as it seems like they're trying to control your choices, and if you give in here, it might lead to other demands in the future. Am I the jerk for telling my future husband that he should invite his stepdad to the wedding, and it's only fair to reciprocate the same treatment he started? I am supposed to get married this spring to my fiancé, James. James and his mother don't have the best relationship because she remarried his stepdad, Ryan. His mother and his biological father had an on and off relationship, and around the time James was 15, his mother decided to divorce. Around the same time she was dating Ryan. James believes his mother cheated, but I have talked to his other siblings and they don't think so. It was a messy situation, with constant breaks, and his mother eventually ended the relationship. James's biological father turned to drinking and passed away before James graduated college. His mother married Ryan, and James hates Ryan. He blames Ryan for the divorce and how his biological father handled it. I have met Ryan personally, and he seems like a decent guy. James has confirmed with me that Ryan has only been polite to him, and he doesn't have any complaints against him other than blaming him for the divorce. Ryan doesn't cause drama at events, he just acts like a normal guest. The main issue is that we sent out invitations for the wedding, and James did not invite his stepdad. I didn't know this at the time the invitations were sent out. James told his mother that while Ryan may be her husband, he is not his family and isn't invited. James insisted that it's his event, and he can decide who to invite. This did not go over well. Invitations to a Halloween party were sent out, and the invite was just addressed to James. I was not included. We called his mother, and he asked why I wasn't invited. His mother told us that while I may be his future wife, I am not family to her, and she gets to decide who to invite to her event. This led to a big fight over the phone. I know his mother is making a point. I would not be pleased if my spouse were not invited to a wedding, so I understand her perspective. Although I am not thrilled to be involved, I recognize that she is making a point. I told my future husband that he should invite his stepdad. It is hypocritical to be upset that I am not invited to a family event when he started this by not inviting Ryan. He set the standards and his mother is following them. He told me it's not the same, but I argued that it really is, especially when his issue with Ryan is about his mother's remarriage. We got into a fight and he called me a jerk. You are not the problem. The stepdad isn't responsible for his father's actions, so blaming him for the alcoholism is unfair. Leaving him out of the wedding is just petty and spiteful, showing a level of immaturity that's hard to ignore. This kind of tit-for-tat behavior is no way to start your lives together, and it's only going to get messier as time goes on. It's worth considering what kind of example this sets for future kids and what values are truly important. Am I the jerk for not wanting to wish happy birthday? The guy and I were good friends for 1.5 years. We work at the same company and he lives nearby. We used to hang out a lot. We had lunch together, drinks together, and went on walks. Then he started being very flaky, replying 2 weeks after I told him my grandmother died. When his grandmother died, I responded after one day. He asked me to join him and another friend for drinks. I asked him what time, and he said he would call me later. He never called or texted. I waited 3 hours until I fell asleep. I woke up the next day with no apology or explanation, just left on read. Later, it was my birthday. He texted me a day late, saying he was sorry and had remembered, and then forgotten. He said happy birthday, and that he owed me a drink. The week after, I agreed to meet him for a drink. He had previously bailed and not replied for 2 weeks when my grandmother died. To this meeting, he brought 2 other friends I did not know. He changed the meeting location twice and took 3 irrelevant phone calls. He made condescending comments about me while next to me. Since that day, I was very hurt. I gave him another chance, and all he did was ignore me by being on the phone. Since then, he has texted me twice. One text said, "Why do you hate me? You have clearly forgotten me." The other said, "Woman, where are you in my life?" I stopped texting and meeting him after that day near my birthday. He has tried 2 or 3 times to reach out with these capital letter texts. I feel more at peace since I think he has stopped now. However, part of me feels horrible if I do not wish him a happy birthday, as it is only 2 words. I do not want to meet up or rekindle the friendship, as that will not happen from my side the way it used to be. However, I did care about him a lot in that friendship, so I am unsure whether to just say those 2 words. If he asks to meet up, I do not have to. Posts in our empathy s-hole should focus on actions rather than emotions or thoughts. It's important to clearly state the action being questioned to align with the subreddit's guidelines. Skimming the rules can lead to misunderstandings, so it's a good idea to carefully read through them before posting. If there's confusion, it's always possible to message the moderators for clarification. Am I the jerk for not helping my company for the kids? Last February, my company dissolved my position due to financial problems. Part of my job was planning events and organizing gifts for children aged 0-18 on my campus from September to December. I managed at least 1 event per week, handled gifts for 20-50 kids, wrapped presents, created wish lists, and conducted community outreach. This was in addition to my other work duties. I performed this role for 4 years. Before my position was cut, I attended several planning meetings in the new year to prepare for the upcoming year and Christmas season. In February, I was informed that my position was dissolved. I was given the option to continue part-time in my current role or switch to a supervisory position. I discovered that my company was hiring for a completely different role with a separate revenue stream. I applied and was hired immediately. The chief people officer was unhappy with my decision as he expected. I would take on the management role and assist with the holiday events to relieve some stress from the overburdened supervisors. This week, I received emails and calls about meetings and passing Christmas information to the new development team. I checked with my supervisor and confirmed that I am not required to meet with the company development team or provide any information beyond my current role. I also cannot be compensated for my time if I attend a meeting, as the funds allocated to our jobs can only be used for our current work. Therefore, I would have to volunteer my time, which I am unwilling to do during my shifts. I sent an email to the development team, stating I had no extra time to invest in the holiday season. All my information was handed over in January and February when we were planning for the future. The other people in development have since moved on from the company. They also contacted my supervisor, attempting to reach me to force me to meet with them. I warned them when I left my position that they would miss me during the holidays. It has since required at least 5 people to do my old job. One of the ladies from development came to my building while I was working one-on-one with a student and requested a meeting. When I explained that I could not leave my current task and did not have time for future meetings, she told me it was for the children and that since I still work for the company, I should be willing to help as I used to. I told her it was not my circus, not my monkeys. They could manage without me. Am I wrong for not wanting to volunteer my time and knowledge when my company eliminated my position and now needs my help for the kids? Your actions don't make you a jerk. They're upset because their plan to manipulate the situation didn't work, and now they're trying to pin the blame elsewhere. Keep sticking to the line that your supervisor has made it clear you're not responsible for that work anymore. If the harassment continues, it's definitely time to report it to HR. Am I the jerk for isolating myself away from my family on our holiday? 3 years ago, my family found out that my father had cheated on my mother. Despite that, they were prepared to give their relationship another try. However, a few months later, my father attacked my mother and nearly me as well. He was arrested, and since then, I have barely communicated with him, and when I do, it usually ends in arguments. 2 years ago, my mother met a man named Alfie, who has 2 children of his own, a 9-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son. Before the holiday, I had only properly met and talked to him twice, his children once, and seen him a couple of times while he stayed over. I agreed to go on the holiday because I did not want to upset my mother by refusing. The holiday turned out to be a mess. I stayed in my room during the day and had dinner with my 2 younger siblings, with whom I was sharing a room. I felt out of place with the whole group because it seemed like a big family, which made me uncomfortable as I miss my father a lot. I was the child he was closest to. I also struggle with body confidence, so I dislike being in a swimsuit. I chose to stay in my room because I felt I would bring the mood down. My mother got angry with me for hiding, but I did not feel comfortable acting like a big family when I am still grieving the lost relationship with my father. I tried to explain this to her, but I do not think she understands why it still affects me, especially since my father has been gone for a couple of years now. It does not help that my older sister gets along well with Alfie and talks to him when he visits our house. I started to feel myself tearing up, so I locked myself in the bathroom until my mother left. It got worse when my 2 younger siblings, a 13-year-old sister and a 10-year-old brother, started staying in the room with me. They said the pool was getting boring, and one of them gets sunburned easily. They are also not close to Alfie or his children and avoid him when he stays over. My mother accused me of convincing them to stay in the room, but I was actually trying to encourage them to go outside with everyone else. When we got home, we talked as if nothing had happened, and we are speaking normally, but I'm still thinking about whether I was being unfair to my mother. Did I overreact or were my actions justified? I think you are not in the wrong here. It's understandable that trying to blend families can come with unreasonable expectations, especially when dealing with the emotions surrounding a difficult relationship with a parent. Relationships can't and shouldn't be forced, and needing space to process everything is completely valid. Counseling, whether family or individual, might be helpful to navigate these complicated feelings and to find a way forward that respects everyone's needs. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.